Welcome to the Fat Loss Over 40 Summit. I'm Christi, and today we are talking with Brian Parana, and he is going to talk to us about making time for you. How do we take care of ourselves when our priority has always been taking care of everyone else?
Right.
Brian is a health and lifestyle coach with over 20 years of experience helping thousands of clients transform their health through sustainable, science-backed strategies. A former CrossFit gym owner and coach to high-level athletes, including a two-time Olympian, he specializes in guiding busy professionals to regain confidence and control. His coaching goes beyond weight loss, focusing on long-term well-being that fits real life. Welcome, Brian.
Hello, Christy. Thanks so much for having me. Hello to all the viewers out there. Excited to present today.
Yes, you've been in this industry for a very long time. Would you please share a little bit about your journey and how you got into this?
Yep. Well, it goes way back into high school. My buddy Dan, who got me into running. And then from there, I ended up getting a job at the YMCA. Free membership. Who knew? So I'm folding towels, sweeping, and then doing pull-ups, right? And that was a lot of fun being able to have access there. Then there's two gentlemen that really, Carson and the other gentleman was Toad, the exercise director. He said, Brian, you're fit. You look like you can go teach some classes. We need someone to cover class tonight. Can you do it? So that was kind of the beginning of getting into phenomenal abdominal. That was Monday at 5 to 5:30. And then from there, it just kept going and going and going. And when I look back, it unfolds like it does with anyone, right? You look back, you see these natural processes of group exercise into an exercise nutrition degree, into personal training, into a gym owner, into doing what I do now, which is remote health coaching with clients all over the world. So there
That's
you go.
great.
That's a quick process, but yeah, thousands of clients, thousands of hours of conversations, even more text messages.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Well, today's topic, I've been looking forward to this because
Yeah.
I see this a lot. Women do a lot for everybody else, but when it
Yeah.
comes to their own health, that gets put on the back burner. Why do you think so many women tend to put their health last?
Well, if we just rewind to just masculine, feminine energies, the feminine is more of a caretaker. And then we fast forward that into our society as it is now, and there's a lot more layers to the responsibilities of a female, right? They're superwoman. They're superwomen, to be frank, right? Most men would crumble under the amount of tasks and things that need to get handled. So you have the obvious family, there's children, there's the husband, there's work now, there's all sorts of other tasks that get layered on, and ultimately you bury that person or that identity of that free spirited, fun loving female, and now she's tired, fatigued, overwhelmed, and has 1,000 things to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when clients come to you, finally, after all of this debate of should I do this or should I not,
Right.
I know from personal experience that it takes a lot of courage for a woman
Very
to
much so.
step up and hire a coach.
Right.
So where do you start with that, or what are some of the common issues you see?
Yeah, common issues is one we first acknowledge, right? You and I have been doing this for a while, pretty comfortable in the driver's seat, so to speak, of taking care of health and being a leader in this area of life. But someone who's been struggling for a couple months to the majority of their life, we have to acknowledge that, hey, really grateful that you're taking the driver's seat now for yourself and putting yourself in there. What do I hear a lot? Tired, fatigued, weight gain randomly for no reason. I woke up one day and now my pants don't fit. There's just a sheer amount of overwhelm. The Google keeps people very overwhelmed, right? There's all these inputs coming at us, 1,000 per minute. Plus, we have just marketing or how we were raised and those contrasts of understanding who we are, how we operate, especially around food or exercise or activity, or your thought process about even taking care of yourself. If you had healthy parents that were trying to always get you to eat vegetables and do it in a fun way, you're probably more likely to eat vegetables and have that as part of your diet every day. But if you weren't and you were, I'm 42, I'm married, I have 4 kids, so I live this every single day. The busyness is, before I even got on, hey Amber, it's my wife's name, who's getting who where? Because we have kids we have all 4 kids, 3 go to one school, 1 goes to the high school, and the oldest is in tennis right now, and the 3 younger, they're coming home after school because they don't actually have an after school activity, but they do, and we go to the school 3 times in a day, and that's a total of 90 minutes of driving just to that school to get our kids that opportunity. And you can start to see, wow, there's no time for anyone, especially someone that's maybe in the main caretaker role in their family.
Yeah. Yeah. So when a woman decides, finally this is the last straw, I'm ready for change, what are some of the mindset shifts that have to take place for that change to happen?
Yeah. So, well, one is you have to be awoken, right? From the very beginning. It could be something, the clothes don't fit, you saw yourself in a picture, you went to the doctor, they gave you really bad news, right? That's the more, unfortunately, it's trending in the way that more people are more unhealthy, period, than they have ever been in our history. And so people show up on my doorstep in probably the worst situation, not the best. No one's saying, hey, Christi, come on over and help me stay in the best shape ever, right? They don't even think about it until an incident or an issue or something culminates into them finally deciding to take action. And to work through some of the mindset shifts, there's really 3 phases that we have to work through to start to prioritize yourself in this experience. And the first one is the struggle and why self-care actually takes a back seat there and what that is defined as. So I had obviously always looking at things to educate myself, consume, and make sure that I'm understanding what my clients are reading. But as far as, say, statistics go, 71% of women, especially mothers, are taking the forefront of the mental load in the household. And then fathers are a little bit behind. I take a very active role in my family because there's 4 kids and they wouldn't operate, right? I get them to school, I get them after school, we go to all their activities, we give them plenty of opportunities to do things. We still have the occasional date night with Amber and I, but there's always, and then figuring out when do I work in there as well. But she definitely does, a little bit somewhat traditional roles in our household. I'm more, say, the breadwinner in a sense, and she's more the caretaker role. And I see that in her as well, of just having all these emails coming in from all 4 kids. And there's this heavy burden and these expectations and these shoulds and feelings of guilt. And I should be doing something for someone else. And, oh, I was going to do something for myself, but now I've got 18 other things to do. And that's usually what happens in the struggle of this internal battle of trying to always fulfill for others, right? Or the pitcher example, right? Women are the pitcher. Usually in most households, they're the centerpiece. And then we have all these cups that come up and we need to pour the water in the cup because all the cups want the water. But if the pitcher doesn't go to the tap to refill, they're always dry, right? There's no water. And that's where some of that, the struggles really start to add up.
I love that analogy of, because, I've always heard the term, you can't pour from an empty cup, but
Right.
that really makes a lot of sense for a woman who's taking care of multiple people
Right.
besides herself, and you have the multiple outlets to pour into, and a pitcher can only hold so much.
Yep, only so much. And then again, if say not that like men aren't doing their share in the relationship, but again, going back to just the societal expectations, women have more plates to juggle, and then there's where the skipping of self-care, even to a point of when was the last time I took a shower? Right? Let alone go get my hair done or get my nails or something like that. But
Never mind go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week.
right. When did I eat last? I don't remember even what I ate when, right? And so those
Right.
self-neglect starts to really creep in, and you always feel like you have no time as well, right? That's just inevitable.
Yes, and then there's the element of, you've done this for everybody all day long, and at the end of the day, you're just tired, and
Yeah.
you don't feel
100%.
like
Yep.
doing more for yourself.
Yep, exactly. And there's this cycle of what I call postponement. And even if you have the intention to go work out, I got dressed, right? I changed my clothes and I got dressed, and I even have it scheduled on my calendar because Brian said so. And I'm getting ready to walk out the door, and then you hear mom, 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 mom. And then you get interrupted, and then that activity gets postponed for 5, 10, 20 minutes, and then the motivation or the energy to get out the door starts to really fade, right? That's when that motivation plummets down. Now, and then what replaces it? Guilt. You're not really, the self-esteem isn't there anymore because now you can't just do the thing that you wanted to do then, and you're running out of time, and then it just keeps looping and looping. And that, just the exercise piece could just be one of them, or all the other presenters here in the summit are giving out amazing advice. It's only great advice and great information only if it is implemented. And that's where I spend a significant amount of time talking and encouraging and finding what is the next best step for my client to take action on themselves. And in that situation of trying to get out the door and getting mommed to death, in a sense, okay, how do we still get out the door and not just fall onto the couch and just be depressed that you didn't do it again? Yet another day I tried and I failed.
Yeah. So that's the struggle. What's the next? What's the next thing?
Yeah, we had the breakthrough, and real quick, I have some clients that really come to mind in the struggle phase. Jen or Sarah, they're both in their mid to late 40s, 50s, independently. Jen is taking care of her mother, her aging mother. She has, she's working. She's got her family needs. She's got acid reflux. She has diabetes when we met. That's the reason why she came. Sarah, on the other hand, is a mother of 2, married, has a corporate job, remote work, making good money, but she's strapped to a desk at home in her office. And then she's also going to school because Sarah, I don't know how she did it. She blew me away. She went to Harvard the 2 years that we worked together, and she got straight A's. I was blown away. She would just tell me how many pages she had to read. I said, oh my gosh. And all I would do is champion what's the best for Sarah. So they came into this situation with me in that struggle phase, and they said enough is enough. And they each had different reasons for why they needed to do it. And then we get into this breakthrough phase, in a sense of where, okay, now we're actually starting to deal with the weight, with the clutter, with the lack of support, with not eating real food because you forgot and you've just been snacking your way through day to day, or you doing the Google itself, trying to self-diagnose one problem after another instead of just going to find someone that does it. An easy example, if my car engine light comes on, I'm not going to self-diagnose it. I'm just going to take it to the mechanic, pay them money, and they'll have it back in 1 to 3 hours, hopefully. And it not be $500+, right? But I'll have an operating car and I can get on my way. So I seek out the type of support I need for whatever situation there is. So those are getting into that, say, that breakthrough mindset phase there.
Yeah. Yeah. So how can we move from the struggle to that breakthrough?
Yeah. One, you have to have had enough. You're sick and tired of being sick and tired. It has to come from within, because it's not going to come from outside, right? They're the cups that are coming to your pitcher to take your water. And you have to start to have some self-respect, some self-esteem, some confidence in yourself to start to create up boundaries for yourself. And that can be a really awkward situation for you if you've always said yes to people. One of the first things that I can do if someone's super duper busy, they always have no time at all. Well, I'm going to let's go find some time and do a time audit. That could be a really simple strategy where you literally, this sounds crazy, but it's incredibly effective when you actually slow down, because that's what you have to do. You have to slow down and start assessing what all these inputs are coming at you as. Because if you don't, they just keep coming. And now if you know that this input here is negativity coming your way, you can put up a shield to block that one way or another and protect yourself so you don't have to put up with whatever is on the other end of that messaging. So a timeout is really simple. You just 4 times every hour that you're awake, you write down, what are you doing? And then you start to see where time is elusive. Our devices are elusive. Our little time gaps in between one activity or another activity can be elusive. Oh, I'm just going to rest here for a second turns into 15, 17 minutes. These are all time that you can get back. And then learning how to properly delegate activities and schedule and plan appropriately can then start to get more time back. So you can time block in a sense. And that's a skill set that if you're not used to doing is really hard. I'm going to set aside time at this time on this day to do this thing. And the first obvious one is, how about we just go to the gym? Or how about we do some, in quotations, meal prep? Not 1990s style where we put everything in a Tupperware container and then eat it all week long. Not talking about that. Most people, anyone I've ever worked with for years doesn't want to do that. But there are more effective, more efficient ways to have dinner prepared and it not be an hour every night in the kitchen while you're there after a long work day and everyone else is sitting watching TV or something. Like that's not good. That's not an ideal situation. You have to ask yourself, how did I get here? Even in a sense.
Yeah, that's good. So do you have any client examples of that stage of the breakthrough?
The breakthrough. Yes. One, Jen, we'll talk about Jen, and she, the breakthrough is we did an active exercise of her life. It was, I call it the vision cast. We're going to rewind 12 months and we're going to work through 1 month at a time, writing, scribbling, the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, the happy, the sad, and the present, because that's all we have. It's just you and me right now, talking and engaging. And we want to have that connection. And so presently in this sphere, what's happening? Where am I at in different areas? And this, I promise you, you living your best self isn't just about eating healthy or going to the gym more. All the need for a shield to block this negativity coming from the person at work that you just don't get along with, and you just keep putting up with whatever it is, like that's causing you to have no motivation when you go home and you don't realize it. And so we assess in the present, and then we move into the future, the next 12 months of what is it that we actually want to create. Now, Jen's down 40 plus pounds. She went to the doctor. She's diabetes free. She hasn't had I always joke, it's the fire breathing dragon type episode with the acid reflux. People are, what drug are you on? You're on a drug, right? You're doing the semaglutide thing, right? And she's like, no, I'm eating real food. I'm prioritizing myself, and I'm working out, and I'm shaping up. And so this year, this is the power of me. And that's what she's calling it. And that's how we can start to constantly go back toward her when she's getting ready to go out the door. We'll run with that activity. She's getting ready to go out the door to work out, and then she gets mom to death in a sense. She still can get back to the door because she understands the undertone of who Jen is someone that has the respect, that has the discipline, whether you want to call it motivation or willpower, I don't believe in that stuff. Nobody shows up at work on time every single day because they're motivated. They don't. They go because they said they were going to. And then we can start to leverage that's a really big lever in Jen's life now of the power of me. And we have it written down places so that she sees it and she's reminded of it. And for her and I, that's something that I'm reminding her of. What did you take? What power did you take back this week? Relationships at work. And here's the most interesting part. She's feeling the friction now. There's heat happening right now. She's down 40 pounds. She has more confidence than ever, and she's saying no to activities, and she's getting that friction in relationships, at work, and just at home. Like, she's just feeling it because she's not just going along with the flow of whatever everyone else is doing. And so that would be a really powerful example of how we can do that. So she really starts creating non-negotiables for herself. This is part of my identity. And that's when you get into that long-term sustainability in the breakthrough phase. So we go from the struggle of awareness and learning and figuring out better routines and habits and behaviors, because that's what anyone else is telling you. Hey, eat protein and vegetables. That's just a habit change from whatever you were doing before. And the faster you can get those habits built into your everyday life, the faster you're going to see the progress. Not fad diet fast. We're not trying to lose 10 pounds in a week or something. We're trying to create this sustainability so that what we do now, we can do in 2 weeks, in 2 months, in 2 years, and so forth, to create Jen or Sarah or Christi or even Brian. Right? Brian has his goals of what does Brian want to do 5 years from now? And how can I take go rodeo style? How can I take a lasso, throw it over, and start pulling it, not wait? How can I pull that future toward me and start doing different actions now to create that future sooner? And to be honest, that's why I'm here in the first place, Christy, is that I'm actively pulling my future self toward me, and I'm showing up hopefully more authentic than I have. I've been in 10 years of just serving, and now it's like, okay, I'm still going to serve, but I need to serve more powerfully. I need to serve in a bigger opportunity, bigger level, bigger capacity, because Brian has skill sets. He has a high level of understanding. Hopefully I can communicate well. And then, okay, what's the impact of how can he change lives? Because you know it, and I know it. Jen is thriving. Even with this friction, she knows where the oil is to keep the friction away.
Yeah, and so sort of what I'm hearing you say is that, every time we keep a commitment with ourselves, that reinforces this new identity that we're taking on.
Yes.
which then makes you become more powerful in that identity to show up
Ah,
for yourself.
yeah. Yep, exactly. Getting some good energy here.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And, I've seen for myself women go through this cycle and change. And at first, it's hard. It's
Right.
hard implementing those new
Oh,
habits.
yeah.
And it's not necessarily, like you said, about the food prep or the gym or, the nutrition changes. It's deciding to do that for
Yes.
yourself,
Yes.
um, for a greater reason, for a greater purpose, and that's because you love yourself and you want
100%.
to live, you want to enjoy life,
Yep.
and you do want to keep showing up for people, but
Yeah.
in a place of I know who I am.
Yes.
I know what I can give, and I know that I'm worth putting the time into.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We just came back from Cancun, and you get on as a family trip. All my kids always go with us. We've actually visited all 50 states. We slept in all of them, and we're moving on to the 7 continents. We've done 3. We've got Australia, Asia, South America, and then we have, of course, Antarctica. And my third son Maxwell posed it to us. Hey, how about we do all 7 continents? We're walking back from the Utah monument in Moab, the one on the license plate, the arch there in Arches National Park, and he throws that out. So Maxwell, wow, raising the bar here. I never thought I'd put my feet on Antarctica, but sure, let's go, let's do it. And that wouldn't happen if there wasn't a higher level of awareness of myself to then go out and provide the value I need to create the resources to be able to do those experiences with my family. But going back to the airplane, what do? They're taxiing you toward the runway, and what do? They run through the whole spiel, and what comes out? The oxygen goes on who first, Christy?
You put your mask on first.
Yes, yes. So we got a lot of
There you go.
analogies. Got all sorts of analogies now, right? We got the oxygen mask, we got the pitcher, we got the go to the get your car fixed and go to the
The
right place.
lasso, I really
Yeah,
like
the
that one.
lasso, right? We got all these things to harness identity, and I think that's the last piece. And it's not going to happen overnight, right? If someone's comes to me, especially if it's weight loss, about 50-60% weight loss. There's some digestion, chronic illness, performance. I had an Olympian, a CrossFit athlete, world champion and stuff. And so those people come too, but they still have their own things, and we need to formulate this identity. I think that's where I find my pure joy is blending. Of course, nutrition is a foundation. Exercise is a foundation. But then getting into some of the time management, the stress management, the identity recreating in someone, and that's where it gets real fun. Because I've seen, here's another analogy, a lot of people want to get up and baseball, right? Swing for the fences, right? That's what they do in the first 3 weeks, and that's why every New Year's resolution fails. They're swinging so hard, and they don't even know how to hold a bat properly.
Right.
And then it's like, slow down. Let's just try and get on base. If we drive enough people to base, then we can get onto the bases. But when we blend that take care of your physical body to then start taking care of your mental and emotional and relationship energies as well, we have so many grand slam type experiences in a sense with these clients. Sarah, all I had to do with Sarah was get her out of her own way. She was a super smart, highly driven person that changed jobs, that enrolled herself into Harvard and got straight A's for 2 years straight while juggling a family. That is crazy. And then in Jen, she gets rid of chronic illness that could basically get her into the grave 10 years earlier, to now we're in this process of growth and change, and she's got this friction of shedding the old skin to, it's like the chrysalis, right? The caterpillar to a butterfly type experience that we're going through right now. And Jen's starting to come out of this cocoon thing, and it's hard because she's getting all this feedback that's, hey, why are you this, or what are you doing that, or you need to do this for me or do that for work or whatever. And it's really, really awesome, an experience to be able to share with people when they had break through to that stuff and start doing really cool things, because they have confidence in themselves now to go do things.
Yeah. So when a woman has made these changes and she's starting to feel really confident in herself, and she's showing herself that self-love and self-care, and then life gets hard.
Yeah.
There's an illness in the family,
Right.
or a big project at work,
Right.
or a family vacation. All these things can throw us off.
100%.
How do we approach those life situations that can throw us off but stay on track?
Yeah. I usually work with people for at least 6 months or longer. We get to live a lot of life together. I have had, in a 3-week time frame, Tammy lost her mother. Neil lost his father. Alfonso almost lost his mother. That is a very challenging season of life, right? We all are going to experience it if you live long enough, right?
Yeah.
The natural circle of life. No one's making it out of here alive, right? So, at first, when those seasons come, you have to understand there are seasons that it's okay to have grace. It's okay to have different priorities in the area, but just because something uncertain happened, an illness, a death, even something, a good thing. I've got another client, she's relocating. She's selling her house, buying a new one. That's really fun and exciting, but all the stress of moving and packing and making sure nothing gets broke and who's going to do it and the kids and having the staging and all these things create this impounding stress and weight. And we still have to go back to the basics. I have to eat, I have to move my body, and I have to practice good portion control, probably drink some water too, right?
Yeah.
And not just throw everything to the wind. And what the one word that I could give you, Christi, would be, and anyone watching, is consistency. Consistency. Does you moving into another house mean that you still have to go to the gym 3 times a week to be consistent? No, it does not. It does not have to be like that. You moving boxes and packing and all these activity, and you're getting so many different steps and stuff. You should not feel bad for not going to the gym for 3 weeks as you're transitioning to a new experience from where you were to where you're at. And life is full of change. If you can't manage change in day-to-day life, you're going to get left behind. You're not going to be able to manage what's happening in the real world environment. And no wonder you have low self-esteem. There's more depression or anxiety, right? The worrisome mom mind, right? That's a real thing, right? Moms are up all night long. I put my head on the pillow. I'm out. My wife will try and talk to me at midnight. It's never a good time for me. I said, I better sit up. I better stand up if she's going, right? I can tell where she's at on what she needs to get off out of her mind. And if she's going and I'm really tired, I better stand up and get engaged, because if I put my head on the pillow, I'm going to fall asleep on her. And then what happens? This is not good.
Yeah, that's good.
Consistency and grace in those periods.
Yes, very good, very good. Well, this has been so good, Brian. If there's one action step our listeners could take today, what would that be?
Look within. And what is it that you actually really want for yourself? And if your present isn't giving you what you want, you have full authority by me and everyone else, but you have full authority to change it. You don't like your job, you can change it. You don't like a relationship, you can change it. You don't like your money situation, you can change it. You can learn skills, you can adapt, you can grow, you can change your mind on different situations to be able to fulfill on a more enjoyable experience in this thing we call life.
Great. Thank you for being here today, Brian. You have a free gift for us today. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah. When it's all said and done, how do we actually get this stuff happening? Well, the free gift is my weekly check-in sheet. This is something that I have my clients send over to me every single time we talk, before we talk. What is it? It's a self-evaluation. Progression is better than perfection, right? I always joke with people like, oh, I didn't do so well this week. I already knew you're going to fail. You're human, right? Of course, we're not going to be perfect every single day, every time, every choice, because we're making a lot of them every day. But on the check-in sheet, it's very simple. There's things, phrases that are I thought long and hard, and I asked a lot of clients about what these phrases should be. Am I calorie aware? Am I moving enough? Did I drink water today? Am I getting support and accountability? Am I working on 2 habits this week to change the outcome of what I want, whether it's health and fitness or finance or relationship or any of those things? And then you can go self-assess. And by self-assessing, then you can see where you're at. So you get a high number, then you're nailing it, as I have on there. And if you're not, then you're a little bit we have no awareness, specifically done with this, no awareness, a little bit, yes, and nailing it. So just 4 ways to frame. So it's really simple. Where am I at? And we just self-assess. And then on the second sheet of it, it has 3 questions of what were positives, successes, to stay in a positive frame of mind, because we are inundated with negativity. More now than ever. The world's on fire, right? And more now than ever, negativity is bombarding us. And you have to start off with gratitude, with positivity, with successes. And that's how I enter in with my conversations with clients, to reframe them in a way of, I have won, and I've done these things this week to make myself more successful than I was last week. I'm a resourceful person that can take care of themselves and do the things that need done to get the results that I want. So that's what it is. It's a very simple, very easy, but don't just put it to the wayside. You put this on your refrigerator every day, or even and assess it every day or every week, then you're going to have some really instant feedback on where some of your, say, needle movers are in the spectrum to get you moving toward your goal, or are you moving away from your goal?
Great. Well, thank you so much, Brian.
Yep. You're so welcome. I hope everyone enjoyed this and that they can go live a little better this week.
Yes. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Thanks for joining me on this summit, Women's 40 Plus. It works for guys too. But if you're interested in the weekly check-in sheet, just look for a link below. I'll be more than happy to get it to you and have you start using it to get more of what you want out of life and more of what you want out of your body and your health. So thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate you making it this far. Thank you.